For this research video, I decided to go to Chinatown to find something to translate. Even though it was in the middle of the day and I brought a helper, there was a lot of sketchy activity going on and no safe parking lots, so I decided to just pull over on the side of the street and film from the safety of my car. So I did not get the chance to walk around and fully immerse myself in Chinatown. I tried my best to look for signs that did not have any English translations next to them and was eventually able to find this sign on the outside of a store. Upon rewatching the footage, I realized that there was actually an English translation next to it on the side of the building, but at that time I swear it did not click in my brain, so the sign saying Saiwu Gardens played no part in any initial translation attempts. I have no knowledge of any East Asian languages, so I was not sure how I was going to translate this sign. My first dilemma was that I didn't even know which language it was in. I tried to compare the characters of surrounding buildings with this sign. The characters on the green bakery across the street looked very different from these ones, so I ruled out those two as being the same language. They did, however, share a resemblance with the beauty salon. By comparing these two signs, I assumed that it was written in either Cantonese or Mandarin. Since there was a convenience store, beauty salon, restaurant, and pharmacy nearby, I assumed that it was perhaps an antique store or a clothing store, as those were the only ones I hadn't seen around. After my initial guesses, I turned to Google Translate to decipher the signage. I started with the Saiwu portion, which I quickly figured out is a name because nothing was translating. I then moved on to the characters, which I was able to translate by uploading a picture of the sign onto the Google Translate app. It translated the sign from Chinese as Saiwu Westlake Restaurant. So the Saiwu Garden sign that was hanging on the side would not have even helped me with my translation, as I would have assumed it was a plant or produce store and not a restaurant. To make sure Google Translate was accurate, I looked up the restaurant online, and according to the internet, Google was correct, and it is an Asian fusion restaurant. Although my translation attempts were not very good, I was at least able to appreciate the culture of the area. I enjoyed how all of the buildings were very colorful and the red and gold arches highlighted the vibrant Chinese culture here in Edmonton. In the Hunger Games trilogy, written by Suzanne Collins, there are 12 districts and a capital that are all highly segregated from one another. Each district has its own unique culture and values, and other districts do not have much knowledge of each other's practices. The only information they get about other districts is from the broadcasting of The Hunger Games, which is heavily censored to only portray things that reflect the values of the capital. Much like how the citizens of District 12 have little knowledge of the other districts, I did not have much knowledge and understanding of the Chinese language and culture. I found it very difficult to translate the sign on my own because I have not had much prior contact with Asian media. Here in Canada, most of our media is in English or French. The TV shows and movies we view are often made here in North America and rarely depict Asian cultures. Usually when Asian cultures, and honestly any culture outside of the Western world are shown, they are heavily stereotyped and not very accurate. Much like the dystopian country of Panem, who depicts the capital and career districts as stronger and better than the others, we in North America only broadcast media from our own point of view. Typically, we show ourselves as highly advanced and civilized, and if we choose to show people different from us, it is usually in a lesser light, making it harder to understand and connect with people and perspectives from around the world. We only get to perceive the world as the government and large media conglomerates choose to depict it.